Today's video is kindly sponsored by Toon Blast. Toon Blast is a mobile puzzle game that can be played for free on any device. In this game, your task is to solve puzzles by blasting cubes and making combinations in order to advance through to the next levels. Experience more than 7,000 levels with fantastic visuals, adorable characters, my personal favourite being Cooper Cat, and seamless animations. Participate in a group or create your own team to collaborate with fellow players and access fantastic prizes. The higher the activity of your team, the greater the number of lives and coins you'll acquire. Plus, there are numerous engaging and demanding mini-games at your disposal for securing rewards. No Wi-Fi connection is required to play Toon Blast, which for me personally has been great for when I've been travelling on the train to the Scottish Highlands, where there was a very limited phone signal. It's such a fun game to play, and I found that the journey was done in no time as I was so invested in the game. Toon Blast has millions of reviews and is highly rated in both the Google Play Store and Apple's App Store. Download Toon Blast for free by clicking the link in the description and pinned comment, or scan the QR code and receive 3 hours of unlimited lives and 100 free coins. The Hoodie Quarry, a steep, wooded area by Shunpike Road in Springfield Township, Union County, New Jersey, became the scene of a grisly discovery on an autumn evening in 1972. What was found within the wooded area were the remains of Jeannette DePalma, a teenager who had vanished approximately 6 weeks prior. Jeannette Christine DePalma was born on the 3rd of August 1956 and grew up in the Springfield Township in a devout Christian family. She was an active participant in Elizabeth's Evangel Church Assemblies of God's youth programs and was known to be passionate about speaking of her faith. She had a plan for the future, and once she graduated, she would go to the Trinity Bible Institute in North Dakota. Sadly, Jeannette's future would be cruelly stolen from her. In 1972, she quietly celebrated her 16th birthday, and a few days later, on August 7th, Jeannette told her mother that she was travelling by train from Summit Station to visit a friend in Berkeley Heights. For reasons unknown, Jeannette never arrived at her friend's home. The hours ticked by, with her loved ones anxiously awaiting to hear from her. Unfortunately, they would never hear from her again. Her parents reported her as missing to the Springfield police on the 8th of August, and an investigation subsequently began. On the evening of September 19th, over a month after Jeannette vanished, a call was made to authorities to report that a dog was seen carrying a decomposing human forearm. Following this, local police were dispatched to the Hoodie Quarry towards a place known as the Devil's Teeth. What they found there chilled them to the bone. The fully clothed body of a woman was found lying face down, the body in a state of decay and decomposition. According to eyewitness reports, the body was allegedly placed within a rectangle of 4 long logs, resembling a place of rest, and there were also allegedly numerous wooden crosses surrounding the body, with 2 larger crosses placed by the body's head. Initial reports said that the logs were arranged in the shape of a trapezoid, however, a police report strongly contradicted this. Further reports alleged that symbols of the occult, such as a pentagram, were placed by the body. With the body being so badly decomposed, the cause of death was inconclusive, as a post-mortem could not be carried out. X-rays aided police in ruling out the possibilities that the victim did not suffer from any bullet wounds, fractures, or blunt force trauma. Police also confirmed that the death was being treated as suspicious. Dental records later confirmed that the human remains were that of 16-year-old Jeannette DePalma. The crime laboratory report from 1973 indicated that Jeannette's attire, encompassing tan trousers, underwear, brown sandals found near her body and a blue shirt, underwent testing. This testing included a comparison with soil samples and hairs gathered from the location. There were no unfamiliar hairs discovered, and the stains present on her underwear and other garments had deteriorated to an extent unsuitable for blood and semen analysis. It is worth noting that DNA testing was not available at the time. However, it is believed that police still have Jeannette's clothing, which could hold crucial clues. In regards to Jeannette's items at the scene, there appear to have been a cellophane packet of tissues, a Vicks inhaler, a key with a ring, lipstick, a small eyeshadow palette, a green compact, a blue comb, and a clear vial holding an unknown substance. Authorities believed all of these were contents that were once within a purse, however, said purse was nowhere to be found. With reports being published nationwide, there were some who believed that Satanism or even witchcraft was a factor in the death of Jeannette. In other words, many thought that she was killed in a human sacrifice. Police were initially investigating the death as a, quote, sacrificial rite of black magic. The location was not far from the Watchung Reservation, which was known to be a place where alleged covens of witches and neo-pagans were known to frequent. A bizarre media report stated that the police actually brought in a witch to help the investigation. However, there is no evidence to support this claim other than a pastor who was told the witch was in attendance at the scene. A few newspapers interviewed this pastor, Reverend James Tate, who was the DePalma family's pastor, and he said that he did not believe that Jeannette would have been involved in the occult, and further explained that it was fairly common for teenagers to participate in events which fell under the umbrella of the occult and Satanism. He went on to say that local teenagers who took drugs tended to believe that they were possessed by Satan, and he revealed in an interview that Jeannette DePalma and her sister, Gwendolyn, had previously had problems with drugs. These problems had been solved by the time of her death, allegedly, but the pastor explained that her family had turned to God, which had rid them of their plight. Jeannette was then determined to help those in need, which included children and drug addicts. There was a spike in the interest of the topic of the occult in the few years leading up to Jeannette's death, due to it being relevant within popular culture. Teenagers in Springfield and beyond were known to have allegedly stolen books about the occult from the public library, and as a result, these books had to be kept beneath lock and key. It is not known whether these particular teenagers were connected to the death of DePalma. The Reverend spoke to a few media outlets and claimed that the, quote, devil's disciples had murdered the 16-year-old after she had preached to them about God and Jesus Christ. Newspapers reported that in the vicinity of the quarry where Jeannette's body was discovered in the weeks prior, animal sacrifices had taken place. One newspaper reported that a candle circle was found, and within it lay a bowl of blood and dead pigeons who had had their necks broken. Springfield police believe that the likely scenario surrounding Jeannette's death was that she and others were having a party and taking recreational drugs, and she overdosed, despite there being no indication of drugs in her system in the toxicology report. The toxicology report did, however, report an unusually high level of lead. Police have never commented on a possible explanation for this. The other partygoers with her would have likely fled the scene when they realised that Jeannette had appeared to have overdosed. However, nobody came forward in regards to being in her company at that time. The medical examiner went on record to state that because he could not rule it out in his examination of the body, he believed that Jeannette died from asphyxiation. Others also speculated that DePalma was assaulted, then strangled, and the perpetrator set the scene to make it look like a satanic ritual to throw investigators off their scent. Jeannette DePalma's father, Salvatore, tried to put the record straight about his daughter's alleged drug use and told the Daily News, quote, "She was never on any kind of drugs." Her family believed it was significant that Jeannette's cross necklace and pocketbook disappeared, and authorities never actually recovered either of these items. In the early days of the police investigation, authorities received word of a homeless man who was living in a shack in the woods near the quarry. This man was known as Red and allegedly fled from his camp following the discovery of DePalma's remains. It was later declared, however, that Red was not involved in DePalma's death. The Daily Beast reported that the authorities investigated a theory that Jeannette did not die from an overdose, but was possibly the victim of a serial killer in New Jersey. This serial killer was Richard Cottingham, also known infamously as the Times Square Killer, who had committed some of his crimes in New Jersey, particularly in and around the area where Jeannette died. Cottingham killed at least 18 women and girls in the New York and New Jersey areas between 1967 and 1980. In 2021, Cottingham wrote to a journalist stating that he believed that he murdered Jeannette DePalma, who had been hitchhiking. In New Jersey, Cottingham had abducted, sexually assaulted and murdered 17-year-old Mary Ann Pryor and 16-year-old Lorraine Marie Kelly and left their remains in Woodland. His letter to the journalist, Jesse Pollock, who wrote a book about the case with editor Mark Moran, was passed on to police to investigate. However, as of 2023, there have been no updates on the case. Moran and Pollock wrote Death on the Devil's Teeth, a book about the mysterious case of Jeannette DePalma. They explore all of the evidence, potential suspects, links to other cases, and also discuss the possibility of a police cover-up. DePalma's loved ones believe that Jeannette was killed by a group of people and not an individual, such as Cottingham. Another proposed theory was that Jeannette's killing was linked to the deaths of Joan Kramer and Carol Ann Farino. 18-year-old Farino was murdered in Maplewood, Essex County, New Jersey in 1966 and had been strangled to death. Her remains were found in Woodland, with evidence suggesting she had been taken there after she had been killed. Kramer, aged 24, was a hitchhiker found deceased in Elizabeth River Park, Union County, New Jersey in 1972. There has been no definitive evidence to link DePalma's death to these cases, however they have not been ruled out. Justice for Jeannette was a page created by Ed Salzano with the help of John Banksy, Jeannette's nephew, in the hope of finding answers more than 50 years on from the tragedy. Furthermore, her loved ones have set up a petition to have the case altered from suspicious death to homicide, as they strongly believe that Jeannette was murdered. There is also a petition to try and get Jeannette's clothing tested for DNA. They never stop fighting for justice and hold a vigil every year to remember the, quote, beautiful person that she was.